Alright, so the question of the day is, what constitutes a good workbench material? How do you go about picking it? And what's the best? Well, I can't sit here and tell you what the best is because everybody has a different opinion. I can tell you what works best for me, what I like to use, and that's what we're going to do. I can tell you what a poor workbench material would be a piece of green wood. Reason being, obvious, it's going to shrink, it's going to twist, going to warp, going to do goofy things. My workbenches, unless it's a temporary throw together thing just to get me through, I don't want that. Now, I've built tons of workbenches over the years. I make them a little better every time. It's just like any other process. The more you learn, the better you build it. And I find that my favorite workbenches are made out of old softwoods that have been milled up a long time ago. I wouldn't say that for every workbench, but for something that I do not want to move, that I want to stay stable. So we're working on we've got the radial arm saw moved over there. We're working on the outfeed and infeed table for it. I'm doing, it's pretty much going to be 6 foot on either side of it, or the center blade. Kind of short for what that saw is, but for what I do up here in this shop, it's perfect for me. But anyway, I'm going with old lumber. This lumber was milled over 20 years ago. These are rafters out of a place that I helped tear down. I always save stuff like that because it always comes in handy. And I mean, it's rough looking. It's nasty looking. This end's a little crappy. Down here it gets nice and solid. Got some nails in it to take out. You're probably wondering, why would you use something like that? It's been drying for over 20 years. It's been drying in place. If there's any warps, any twists, anything like that in it, it's already there. It's not going to move anymore, and I can mill it out to nice, straight, and true, and I won't have to worry about it doing much movement after the fact. Something like infeed and outfeed tables, they have to be nice and straight. They have to be nice and square to your blade. So you kind of want something that's really good and stable. I mean, common sense. You put green stuff on there, twist all your cuts after that, they're going to get a little nasty. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know how far we're going to get tonight because it's already late, but it's a good time to get started. I'm just bringing you guys some stuff in between all the insulating and boring stuff like that. And I can only run a time lapse of throwing insulation board up in a ceiling so much before it gets really old for you and for me. So anyway, stay tuned, I'll catch you on the other side of it. So probably the worst part of using old crap is denailing. Usually it's a good job for the kids, but it is a school night and they are back to school. Good to get some kind of normalcy in this crazy friggin' world. But, so they're in bed right now and I'm not going to wake them up to do this as much as I would love to. There's old rusted in nails there. They don't give up the ghost too easy. You know, normally I would save these. I'm getting tired of saving stuff like that and never using it. I know it's not the frugal thing to do, but it's better than burying myself in more junk. I think I've done plenty of that over the years. We're going to run a metal detector over this. Let's see if it works. It works. get this level with that table on that radial arm saw. As you guys know, if it's out of whack at all, every cut I make on this thing is going to be out of square. Every single one. And I just don't want to live in a world like that. The beauty of having a solid wood wall is, boy, it gives you so much more freedom. It gives you a lot more freedom to put screws wherever you want. It makes a lot of difference. Of course, you guys know what I'm building right now. I'm building a huge shelf for me to pile with shit and have another space that I can't work with because I'm too much of a pig. That's what I'm building here. So if you guys don't believe that, well, you are naive. I hate to believe it myself, but I know me. I know me all too well now. You've known me a long time, almost 40 years. Yeah, this wood here, it's, before you plane it down and everything, it looks like garbage. And like I said before, what I really like about using this stuff is it just doesn't move much. Once you have it, dried like that for so many years, what a difference. Now I got some decent progress tonight. We got 1/2 pretty well built. Now we're going to do some cabinets that are going to sit on the back side of this. So this space right here is going to be filled up. Kind of going to do an L shape. It'll just be tool racks, things like that. We'll do it on both sides. We'll have a little bit of tool storage. We'll do some shelves underneath. I'll finally have a home for my big beam saws, things like that. Out of the way, off the floor, that's a biggie. But so anyway, the title of this video, is this the best choice of wood for a workbench? And I'm not going to say yes or no. Your best choice for anything you have in your workshop is what you can afford, what you have to hand, and what's going to work for you. I see so many posts all the time, all over the interwebs, you know, somebody will put a picture of something they built on somewhere, and you'll always have some huge group of trolls to just tell these people, oh, that's a piece of shit. What would you waste your money on that for? What would you do this for? What would you do that? Why would you buy that Harbor Freight piece of junk? And you know, those kind of things really, they kind of irritate me a little bit because, I mean, hell, I've been married for 16 years and we're finally climbing out of financial issues. It's taken that long. There's a lot of people out there, they wouldn't be able to make anything. They wouldn't be able to do their hobbies or things like that if they didn't go and buy some of the cheaper tools to get them going. That's a normal thing. If you guys are starting out and you're trying to get into the hobbies, you don't have a lot of money to spend, you get what you can afford, you use what you can afford. You know, it's not about, at the end of the day, it's not about the tools. It's about these. It's about your hands and about your mind and what you're able to do with what you have. And there's some good sayings out there, you know, about not having a lot and making do. And I've seen some people with some of the nastiest, cheapest tools they could find build some of the most beautiful stuff I've ever seen. And it's just, it's one of those things. So, best lumber choice for building a workbench, it's what I have to hand. Now granted, I like it dry. That's why I'm using that old stuff. That's why I take the time to plane it down, make it look nice. It's good lumber. It's a good choice for me to use. It may not be that way for you or everybody else, but for what I'm doing, that's my best choice. So like I said, don't let any of the trolls bother you guys if you can't afford to get things. Get what you can use to get yourself going, to get yourself into your shops, whatever it takes. A lot of people out there have a pretty creative mind. And a lot of times to see people discourage somebody from doing something they really love to do, really want to try out, it's very disheartening. And think of the people who are so proud to finally have a tool to make life a little easier for them. Granted, it's not the Cadillac of all tools, but they finally have something they can do a process to make it more enjoyable for them. And they're proud of it. And they put a picture of it somewhere over on the Farce book or the Instaslam. And they got 20 trolls in the first 10 minutes telling them, you wasted your money. What a piece of shit. Why would you buy something like that? Folks, don't give in to that nonsense. You get what you can get. And as you progress, maybe you're making money on your stuff, you can improve upon it. Everything I have in this shop, it's old and it's used. I don't have a lot of brand new tools. That lunchbox planer, I bought that years ago, brand new. It was $200, and I tell you at the time, that was a hard $200 for me to spend. When I was building our house, I needed to be able to plane stuff down, you know, and I was doing the kitchen. So that's what I bought. It's worked just fine for me. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but it works. My table saw, my band saw, a lot of the stuff. My joiner was an old throwaway that one of my uncles gave me because the table you could never get quite square. A lot of screwing around, we got it so it's square. The table saw, the band saw, I bought that off of a buddy who was selling out his deceased relative's wood shop. Got it dirt cheap. Otherwise, I wouldn't have that stuff. This right here, this saw was a gift to me from my brother-in-law, the guy with a huge barn with all the signs next door. He picked it up at a yard sale for $50. And he gave it to me. So, at the end of the day, you get what you could get, you use what you have, be proud of what you have, be proud of what you can do with it. So, anyway, on that note, I am tired. It's well after midnight. I have to work in the morning, and I have to edit this tonight. So, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one.